So here's a few PCI myths that you need to understand. Outsourcing card processing makes us compliant. Not necessarily. So outsourcing is good. Outsourcing is very important. However, outsourcing does not necessarily make you compliant. There's still something you have to do. Even with Alpha, the SAQA, you still have something you have to do. Now, it's very minimal. There's not much you have to do, but you still have to do something. PCI compliance is an IT thing. Let IT worry about it. Well, and that's India Tango, right? Information technology. Let those guys worry about it. It's not my problem. Okay, so understand that, well, you might be thinking that, but just so you know, if you are a business owner, you need to understand PCI compliance, because guess what? It's coming back to you. PCI requires you to hire a security assessor. That is not true. Again, level 1 requires you to have a qualified security assessor. All the other levels do not. Now, you may choose to do that to be more compliant, or if you want to go and err on the more of the conservative side of the house, but it is not a requirement. PCI is too hard and complicated. I will say that they have done a lot to help make it take away some of the ambiguity. However, I mean, let's be real. Unless they say, hey, A, B, and C, you do those things, you're good to go. It's going to be more complicated than just, I plug this in, you're rocking and rolling, you're in business. There is some level of complication involved. It can get more complicated the bigger the network you have and the more integrated it is within your network and your system, but it's up to you. Using a company like Stripe makes me compliant with PCI. Now, this one is out there a bit, and I got to default back to the fact of I'm not a super security PCI expert in the fact that Stripe is compliant. These companies, these third-party companies, Stripe is one, PayPal and so forth, they are third parties that have to maintain PCI compliance. However, that does not absolve you from the fact that you need to also maintain a merchant aspect of this with a PCI-A if you've outsourced all of this capability to them. So it does not make you compliant with PCI. There's things you have to do, and it's more of a checklist of going, what are you doing with your passwords? And then go from the fact of being more conservative and going, are you doing antivirus? Are you looking at that? Those are just some things that we'll get into in just a second. Are you still with me? You hanging in there? Hello? Hey, guess what? Today's a wonderful day. I've noticed the day I'm recording this, it is a Wednesday, and it's going to be 100 degrees here in Kansas, so giddy up. See, hopefully you're still with me. All right. Now, outsourcing PCI. This is what people want to do. So by outsourcing it, I like to consider PCI credit card data, in my mind, is kind of, this is not the best term, but in my mind, it's almost toxic, right? Because once it gets on your network or in your network and you have control of it, it's one of those things where you are responsible to take care of it, which is good. However, there's a lot of assumptions that are being made that you're doing what you're supposed to do and you know what you're supposed to do. So I like to avoid it. So outsourcing it is a good thing. It reduces the compliance burden, but does not eliminate it. So have I stressed that enough? I think I have. Data storage. From a data storage perspective, you have to consider yourself, if you are outsourcing it, is that, okay, the credit card comes in, is the data going to be stored with you or with somebody else? Go somebody else. It's a whole lot easier. Let them worry about PCI, the big bulk of the PCI compliance aspect of it, okay? You outsource it. Network protection. There's a lot of network protection gear that you have to potentially put in place, from firewalls to making sure your security for your communication between the credit card to you is secure, the credit card to where it's stored, is it stored encrypted, all those wonderful little aspects of this, you don't have to mess with. Outsource it. Just food for thought, outsource it. And what happens is it's typically used with websites. So like in a case you have a website A and you want to outsource your PCI. There's a couple different ways that I've seen this done, and I'm sure there might be some others, but the big one is using a Juliet Sierra, okay, JS, which is JavaScript. So it uses a JavaScript, a program to run, and then it automatically, so when someone clicks on the box to go check out, it redirects to this JavaScript little application, runs and redirects you to the company to do the payment processing. A good example is Paid Membership Pro. They have a JavaScript applet that incorporates with Stripe. Stripe uses that JS script. So that just dumps right into Stripe. You're good to go. Bada boom, bada bing, right? So that's an option for you as well. Or you redirect. So I click on a button going, hey, do you want to buy my product? Well, sure, I want to buy your product. So click on the button. You click on the button, it redirects you to a site that is fully PCI compliant. You don't even have to deal with it, and that's a redirect. There's also an iframe, which in my third grade brain is basically a piece of code that sits inside your what you've put on a web browser or inside one of your pages or however it's set up, that you have it on your site, where it runs independent. It runs independent of anything else that's on your site. It's its own little world per se, and that separates the data from your personal website. So those are really the three options I've seen. Now there is debate on what you do and what level you should fall under. I'm not an expert, so I can't really tell you which way to go on that. I've seen some people say that the JavaScript one still pushes you under the PCI Alpha Echo Papa one, which is the more restrictive, and the redirect iframe pushes you under the PCI-Alpha. I can't give you one way or another on that. That's something you need to consider and look at. Again, those are questionnaires. You can decide what you want to do, and then from there, you just may have to live with the consequences that come out of that. But bottom line, either one of those, let's just be real. If someone hacks your website, they can get themselves in the middle between you and the payment card company. So if they get access to your site, they could put stuff and still get credit cards in a way that is outside of the scope of the way the payment card company have it set up. So recommendation is go most conservative. Even if you fall under the SAQ-A, I would understand the SAQ-A-ECOPAPA, just so you know what does it take to make sure your network's secure. Just a recommendation. You do what you want, and it will save you in the long run, because guess what? You have done what you should do to protect your customers' data and their information, their credit cards. So just saying, think about it. Do what you want to do. So what are the consequences for non-compliance? Well, these are wonderful little things that come up. So consequences for non-compliance will include loss of credit card use, which basically means the credit card companies won't work with you. They say, nah, we ain't using www.mychickens.com. Because you know what? You guys didn't take care of the data. So now you have no way of taking payment, which means you are out of business, effectively. You will run into financial fines. It's like everything else when you're dealing with compliance. If you don't do it, they will fine you. And that's not good, right? So if you ain't making money because you just lost the credit card use and you can't pay it, well, that ain't good either. So financial fines bad. Legal woes, obviously, then they can come back and sue you. And then things just take an even worse toll. Yeah, or something like that. So you can't use credit cards. You can't make any money. You got to pay money. And now you got legal issues, which means you even need to pay more money to lawyers. So you're losing out big time, right? So, oh my goodness. And business loss. So from a negligence standpoint, so let's say you have a great business set up and you are incorporated, or you have an LLC or whatever it is, however it is set up in your country. And in the United States, you're determined negligent. Well, now they come after to seize the company, right? Or they'll sue you on that end. Again, not a lawyer. I slept at a hotel one night and thought I was one, but I'm not a lawyer. But I do know enough to know that it's just bad, right? Just bad. And the last one is your loss of reputation. So you are the best chicken storage place in the world. You have all the chickens that you could ever have, and people come to you from all around the globe to get your chickens. But yet now you got hacked. And even if you did everything right and you're in the news of mychickens.com was hacked, what happens now? Well, you got loss of business due to that. Because guess what? People don't want to give people credit cards if they're hacked. And even if you did everything right, it still can hit you. So loss of reputation, big problem.